Isn't it odd how some ideas and situations tend to come up at the most inconvenient times? Even if you weren't looking, all of a sudden something shows up, a solution, an insight, a route, and it seems like it was there the entire time. There's a strange rhythm to life. Nothing is too late, and nothing is too early. Everything is delivered on schedule, even right now. The phenomenon we refer to as coincidence is frequently life's method of reminding us that we are a part of a greater symphony, a pattern so vast that the mind can only awaken to it rather than control it. Consider the instances in your life where something seemed to come along just when you needed it to. A stranger's words, an epiphany, or the beginning of a chance. You might have thought, how lucky, how extraordinary. What if it wasn't luck, though? What if it was just a pattern unfolding? This is known in the East as Tao, or the way things flow when we stop pushing them. It is referred to as Leela, the divine play, and synchronicity in India. However, the sensation is the same regardless of the label. When you're ready, you'll get what you need. The secret is this readiness, because the truth is always present and pours down like sunlight. However, it goes unseen until you're receptive to it. It's possible for a toddler to hear great insight, yet reject it as absurd. Later on, the same words might strike like lightning through the heart. Therefore, you must mature into the capacity to receive meaning rather than it just appearing out of nowhere. Simply said, alignment is what you refer to as coincidence. When your generosity and openness collide, a door opens without your having to push it. But take note of the time. You can't grasp it. You can't expect wisdom to show up. It's similar to tugging at a flower's petals in an attempt to make it blossom. All you do is ruin it. When the sun, soil, and season are all correct, the flower blossoms. Similarly, realization doesn't come sooner or later. It comes when you're ready. For this reason, the most profound revelations often come as a surprise during a routine day. You weren't looking for it, but all of a sudden it was there, like though the world itself had spoken it. And maybe that's why you're here right now. A restless part of you has been aching for clarification and a reminder. Life has brought these words to you because you are at last quiet enough and prepared enough to hear what you already know, not because they contain some hidden magic. Because waking is never about learning anything new. It's about keeping in mind that you're not behind or broken, that you must be exactly where you are since you are breathing right now. Nothing in life is ever out of season. Have you ever observed how frequently the significant life-turning events seemed like coincidences? Someone you happened to meet transformed your life. You found yourself in a circumstance that compelled you to change. A sentence you overheard has plagued you for years. All of it was required even though none of it was planned. This is resisted by the mind. It seeks authority. It seeks clarity. However, life cannot be designed like a machine. It's a dance. Additionally, you can't predict what a dancer will do next. All you can do is follow the beat as it develops. But what if I don't get my chance? However, you can't really miss what is intended for you. The tide rises more than once. It keeps coming. Life will whisper tomorrow and the day after until you are ready if you don't hear now. This is the grace of life. If you don't notice, it doesn't leave you. Like a friend, it waits patiently at the door, and you discover that the direction was always there when you finally open up. You were just too busy to notice it. Here it is now. Therefore, don't consider these periods to be interruptions. They are discoveries. You might think you're being pulled off course, but you're actually being led back. How many times have you said to yourself, I never would have come here if that had not happened? What appeared to be an error turned out to be a turning, a doorway that felt like loss. In its enigma, life is able to present you with just what you need, not always what you desire. Because your needs are deep and your wants are fleeting. And what is needed is always provided by life. Often, the simplest form will convey the message you're looking for. You anticipate thunder and lightning, but what you get is a brief thought, a calm sentence, or an everyday moment. That's the reason so many people ignore it. They are hoping for grandeur when truth emerges as a whisper. And yet that whisper carries more power than any yell because it does not impose. It resonates. It stirs something existing within you, something yearning to awaken. And you feel it not as information provided, but as recognition, as if life is saying, yeah, you knew this all along. You are at such a moment, now unsure of your route, confused by the cacophony of the world. And suddenly these words find you. To fix you is not their purpose. To remind you that you are not broken, they are here. You're coming apart. You're not running late. You're on time. Because life doesn't measure you by calendars and clocks. Life is meaningless. You flow with it as it flows. And when you stop hurrying and pressuring yourself, you find that the rhythm has been with you the entire time. You are always part of the dance. The idea that we are falling behind causes a great deal of our sorrow. That we have to hurry in order to catch up. However, catch up to what? To whom? There isn't a finish line. The sky is not inscribed with a schedule. The rhythm of existence itself is you. Life can't be late, either. The seasons aren't sorry for coming at the wrong time. The tide doesn't chastise itself for moving forward or backward. So why do you think you should be out of step with the rest of the universe? You're not. You're doing just what you have to do. And you unwind when you see this. You let go of your grip. You no longer insist on receiving responses on your schedule. The answers then materialize like magic. It's because your eyes have opened, not because they weren't there. Have you ever noticed how a name suddenly comes back to you when you stop trying to recall it? The idea comes to you naturally after you stop trying to force it. It's the same law. When you are still sufficient to permit it, what you need emerges. Life doesn't hold back. All it needs is for you to be open. The mind, however, opposes this. No, I have to make plans, it says. I have to be sure. However, the very thing that prevents discovery is confidence. Living solely based on certainty means reliving the past and repeating what has already been discovered. However, life isn't a rehash. It is the act of creating. It's constantly fresh and unexpected. Therefore, those who are truly intelligent come to trust uncertainty, knowing that the road will reveal itself as they go. They learn to walk without a map. Your existence develops step by step, much like a tune that emerges note by note. The entire song is not required of you. Maybe that's what you're learning right now. Have faith that you will get what you need. Have faith that you will not be forgotten. Have faith that the cosmos is intimate rather than apathetic. Because even though you might not always hear it, it whispers all the time. When you eventually hear it, you label it fate, synchronicity, or coincidence. It's just the eternal dance, though. It was always a part of you. You thought you were. And when you release the illusion of control, you find that you are always being carried, like a leaf on a river, moving in the right direction. Comfort yourself if you're tired. You have not been abandoned by life. Take a deep breath if you're feeling unsure. The following phase will become clear. You don't have to ask for it. All you have to do is be there. Because the germ of wisdom grows in the soil of presence. And that seed is still sprouting inside of you. You're not learning anything new from these words. What was already there is being watered, and it will soon bloom when the time is right. You will know it as something that is always yours, something that is recalled rather than something that has been added. Isn't it odd that this rhythm is served by even your difficulties? You become more mature as a result of heartbreaks, failures, and disappointments. They make you softer. They get the earth ready. You wouldn't be prepared for the realization when it arrives without them. Before the light to enter, the stone needs to be cracked. Before the seed can grow, the earth needs to be split up. Therefore, even if you might not realize it at the moment, your grief has a purpose. You look back later and think, yeah, without that, I never would have woken up to this. There is no waste. The pattern incorporates everything. When you're feeling hopeless and wondering why, keep in mind that anything can happen right now. Neither the past nor the future are where the lesson is found. It comes in the here and now, always present, always in the moment. And you'll discover that you already have what you need if you let yourself be open. Always as presence, sometimes as mystery, sometimes as clarity, because it tells you to quit acting as though you know. Even confusion can be a form of wisdom. The biggest error is thinking that you have to wait for a certain moment or ideal circumstance before you may wake up. That's just another mental trick, another delay. Now is the ideal time. It is the sole condition that exists at the moment. You stop frantically looking for the message once you recognize this. You understand that the message is constantly present and ready for your attention in a variety of forms. A passing face, a sudden stop, or a bird song can all communicate if you're paying attention. The cosmos is never quiet. You're just preoccupied. However, isn't it amazing that the plan includes even your distractions? Because you realize how much time you lost when you wake up from them. You decide to change your way of living after coming to that insight. The journey included the detour. It was portion of the road that the turn was missed. Nothing is lost. There is no waste. Everything has a place. And for that reason, you can't fail in life. It is impossible to be outside of it. Only you can think that you are. Then one day, like today, you are reminded by something, a word, a moment, a slight prod, and you wake up. Maybe that's what this time is. A gentle reminder that everything, even your perplexity and longing, is a part of the unfolding and that you don't need to rush or panic. And that everything you need is either already here or on its way. It asks, but how will I know? And the solution is straightforward. You'll sense it. You'll be able to tell when the message is intended for you, just as you can tell when you're hungry, exhausted, or in love. It won't be coerced. It will strike a chord. And don't question it when it resonates. Don't write it off as random. Have faith. Life has spoken. With a whisper, not with thunder. Additionally, the whisper is always sufficient. Because where shouting cannot reach the heart, whispers may. They get around the pride, the defenses, and the never-ending debates. And all of a sudden, without warning, you can see well. It dawns on you that you are never alone. You have always been led by that life. That you're being held right now. And thankfulness overflows when you experience this. Thank you for what you needed, not what you desired. And you needed surrender, not control, but trust instead of assurance. The bravery to live the questions, not the infinity of answers. Because life isn't a riddle that needs to be solved. To experience, it is a mystery. And only when you let go of it, like sand slipping through your fingers, does the enigma become clear. It is incomprehensible. However, it rests there with ease if you open your hand. Similar to this, wisdom is discovered via letting go rather than by coercion. And when you release it, you find it has been patiently waiting here the entire time. To calmly accept life's timing. To verify that there is nothing lacking. Should have faith that what you need is either already here or on the way, cloaked in everyday life. Because the commonplace usually conceals the remarkable. The simple conceals the sacred. You come to the realization that you don't have to pursue anything when you awaken to this. All you have to do is pay attention to the timing, rhythm, and presence of each moment. And in that observation, life shows itself to be exactly what it is, perfectly whole and complete. Therefore, when you're wondering why this moment feels so appropriate, know that it's not a coincidence. You've come here because of life. Because you have been located, not because you are lost. You are complete, not because you are broken. The reminder is meant to wake you up, not to correct you. To awaken you from the delusions of control and separation. The belief that you have to merit your position. You're here already. You were and always were. And you're always being carried forward, step by step, to the precise place you need to go by the rhythm of life. Therefore, allow these words to be what they are intended to be. A soft hand on your shoulder reminding you that you're not late. You're not in the rear. We don't forget you. Everything happens when it has to. Even this moment, even this thought, even this realization, life is never early, never late. It is always on time.